In Tatsuyama, the Oni are revered, and the Bushi are shunned by the townspeople. Musashi, a top graduate of Tatsuyama's minor training school, holds opposing views on the Oni, while Kojirou Kanemaki, an orphaned outcast, firmly believes in the Bushi. Musashi, inspired by a childhood promise, wants to fight alongside Kojirou against the Oni, but Kojirou criticizes Musashi for seeking societal acceptance. During a graduation ceremony, Musashi and his classmates head towards the Oni gate for their first day of work as miners. Once inside, they are traumatized upon seeing a horde of cat-like Nikomoto Oni. Meanwhile, Kojirou discovers that Musashi left behind his training notes, proving that Musashi was secretly mastering his fighting techniques at school. With a small pickaxe as his weapon, Musashi eventually realizes that he must be honest with himself. As Musashi is no match against one of the Nikomoto Oni, Kojirou barges through the Oni gate with a motorbike called a Kaitsu mount, having fetched Musashi's large pickaxe sword, before assisting him in defeating the horde of Nikomoto Oni. A formidable Oni, the Great Kishin awakens. Musashi and Kojirou initially defeat it, but it transforms into Engoku Tengu. Engoku Tengu attempts to take Kojirou's katana, symbolizing his Bushi pride, and devours it. Musashi, climbing onto the Engoku Tengu, retrieves the katana from its stomach. As Takeda band arrives to face Engoku Tengu, Musashi opts to stay and fight, much to Natara's interest. Natara prevents Musashi from further attacking Engoku Tengu, scolding him for recklessness. With Kojirou's insight, Musashi targets the horn, breaking his pickaxe sword. Natara intervenes, slicing the horn, causing the Engoku Tengu to finally fall and dissolve. Natara challenges to dream the impossible, whether it is for stability or for victory. Struggling to hold his feelings inside, Musashi finally lashes out on Natara for stealing his first kill. Impressed by Musashi, Natara gives Musashi a jewel as a consolation prize. Upon further investigation, Musashi and Kojirou figure out that this jewel is a kaleidoscope used as a tool for detecting the Oni. After learning that the country will be united when the mightiest Kishin are slain, Musashi makes his declaration to Natara. Musashi and Kojirou set off on their Kaitsu mount as they start their journey to the outside world. After wandering in the desert for 7 days, Musashi and Kojirou run out of food. When they stop by a river, Musashi becomes jealous when Kojirou catches a pile of fish. They are suddenly ambushed by Tsugumi Hattori. Although Kojirou becomes easily wounded, Musashi is able to stand his ground against Tsugumi. Just as Tsugumi prepares to go at full force, she steals Musashi and Kojirou's Kaitsu mount before being summoned to the castle Samadare, home to Hideo Kosamda, captain of the Kosamda band. As Musashi and Kojirou arrive at Samadare on foot, Tsugumi happily gives them a tour. Tsugumi soon reveals that her older sister Tsubame Hattori was killed by an Oni in the past. During a feast, Hideo proposes that Musashi and Kojirou should fight alongside the Kosamda band. However, Hideo decides to imprison them when they do not know about Kaitsu blades. Hideo berates Tsugumi for being useless as he plans to fully mobilize Samadare, which will endanger the lives of the townspeople. Tsugumi later explains to Musashi and Kojirou that Kaitsu blades are swords made from Oni iron. Running away, Tsugumi decides to bottle up her feelings about the lives of the townspeople being endangered. As Musashi and Kojirou escape from imprisonment, they spot a swarm of Kodama Oni approaching Samadare. When Tsugumi goes against Hideo's decision to fully mobilize Samadare, Hideo threatens to exile Tsugumi from Samadare if she defies him. Musashi and Kojirou barges into Tsugumi's bedroom with their Kaitsu mount as they tell her to be her own person. As Musashi and Kojirou get back their weapons, Tsugumi creates a distraction, telling Hideo to spare the lives of the townspeople. Even though Musashi and Kojirou disarm the guards, Tsugumi is unable to convince the townspeople to flee since they are afraid of defying Hideo. As a last resort, Tsugumi duels against Hideo in a bid to open the eyes of the townspeople. Although Tsugumi initially struggles, she eventually goes at full force and chooses her own path, finally defeating Hideo. As the townspeople finally retreat to the desert, the swarm of Kodama Oni begin to overrun Samadare. Musashi and Kojirou bring Tsugumi to safety on their Kaitsu mount. With Samadare now destroyed by the swarm of Kodama Oni in the aftermath, Tsugumi is eventually convinced to leave with Musashi and Kojirou. On the night before leaving, Musashi tells Tsugumi how they are similar in following the dream of reuniting the country. The next morning, Musashi, Kojirou and Tsugumi leave on their kaitsu mount as the townspeople bid farewell to Tsugumi. At a rest stop, Kojirou witnesses Tsugumi being clingy to Musashi. Unbeknownst to each other, Musashi is attracted to older women like his schoolteachers, while Kojirou has no romantic experience whatsoever. However, Tsugumi behaved awkwardly because she just wanted to be friends with Musashi and Kojirou. Later on, Musashi chases after a stray Kodami Oni when it steals Kojirou's katana. Musashi is led to Shiro Inukai in a field of various kaitsu blades. When Musashi grabs a kaitsu blade, he draws out immense power, managing to kill the stray Kodami Oni and recover Kojirou's katana. Nana in Yusaka soon arrives to escort Shiro away. Both Shiro and Nana vanish when Kojirou and Tsugumi find Musashi. In order to get stronger, Musashi, Kojirou and Tsugumi plan to shop for kaitsu blades at a marketplace in the Great Eastern Mine. Musashi suggests at a ramen shop that Kojirou should lead the Kanemaki band. In a kaitsu blade auction, Musashi, Kojirou and Tsugumi meet Mitsuru Osafune, the head swordsmith of the Ryuzoji band, who explains that choosing a kaitsu blade is a significant rite of passage. Both Musashi and Kojirou undergo trials after gripping the hilt of their chosen kaitsu blades. After Kojirou successfully passes his trial as a blue soul, Mitsuru elaborates that kaitsu blades can unveil a bushy soul by glowing in one of 5 colors: blue, green, yellow, red, and white. In Musashi's trial, the obsidian goddess rejects him when he emits a black aura. Musashi's dreams of becoming a bushi are shattered when he learns he will never wield a kaitsu blade, with Mitsuru likening it to being unable to breathe underwater or survive engulfed in flames. A Kishin suddenly sends a herd of bull oni from the sky, and Kojirou effortlessly dispatches them with his new kaitsu blade, assisted by Mitsuru. While Kojirou and Tsugumi depart to deal with more Kishin at the mountain top, Musashi encounters Shiro, who reveals that he also emits a black aura. Shiro advises Musashi to embrace the black stones within him to gain strength. Using his kaitsu blade to create a large pit, Shiro throws Musashi into it along with a discarded kaitsu blade. Meanwhile, Tsugumi discovers that Musashi comes from a family of farmers while Kojirou grew up on the outskirts of town, though Musashi always treated Kojirou as an equal. Shiro discloses to Nana that the obsidian goddess resides within Musashi. Nana realizes that Shiro plans to use Musashi as raw materials for a new weapon. As Musashi falls down the pit, he grabs the discarded kaitsu blade, halting his descent. Musashi begins turning to black stone and falls into magma at the pit's bottom. Inside Musashi's consciousness, the obsidian goddess urges him to stay hidden. In the past, Musashi was rejected by relatives after his parents died from an epidemic. Desperate to feel needed, Musashi was pressured into publicly humiliating Jizai by throwing a rock. In the present, the obsidian goddess breaks Musashi's will to fight, embracing him as he fully turns to black stone. Kojirou and Tsugumi reach the mountain top and discover a headless Kishin. Shiro admits to beheading the headless Kishin with its horn still intact. After causing havoc, Shiro approaches Kojirou and Tsugumi, stating that Musashi is becoming a kaitsu blade. Nana rescues Musashi, using her kaitsu blade to pull him up from the pit. He rushes to the mountain top with his new kaitsu blade. In the past, Musashi apologized to Jizai for publicly humiliating him, and Jizai adopted Musashi, thanking him for being Kojirou's friend. In the present, Musashi recalls Jizai teaching him the way of life for a bushi. Musashi arrives just as Kojirou struggles in an earth-shaking duel against Shiro. Kojirou and Tsugumi learn that Musashi is neither accepted nor rejected by his kaitsu blade. Nana arrives, apologizing to Shiro for pulling Musashi up too early. Musashi reminds Kojirou that bushi fight alongside their friends. Musashi, Kojirou, and Tsugumi dodge incredible attacks executed by Nana with her kaitsu blade. Following Kojirou's plan, Musashi and Tsugumi split up, enabling them to restrain and destroy a part of Nana's kaitsu blade. Shiro intervenes despite Nana's plea, using his kaitsu blade to cut the mountain top and flip it upside down, leaving Musashi, Kojirou, and Tsugumi clinging for their lives. As Shiro sends them plummeting to their deaths, time freezes, and the obsidian goddess appears before Musashi, explaining that Shiro and Nana are trying to capture her. Musashi tries to reason with the obsidian goddess, assuring her that he won't leave Kojirou and Tsugumi behind. Entrusting Musashi with her power, the obsidian goddess possesses his body before restoring the mountain top. The obsidian goddess informs Kojirou and Tsugumi that people consisting of black stones like Musashi can draw and repel any attack like a powerful magnet. Before returning to her slumber within Musashi, the obsidian goddess prepares to attack Shiro and Nana by drawing sword spirit energy from the others. Musashi regains possession of his body after the obsidian goddess initiates a groundbreaking attack, causing Shiro and Nana to seemingly vanish into thin air. Surprisingly, a large pit appears, where the headless Kishin used to be, hinting that Shiro and Nana managed to escape with it out to sea. Musashi, Kojirou, and Tsugumi discuss that a kitesu blade is a testament to the life of a bushi. At night, Mitsuru provides lodging for Musashi, Kojirou, and Tsugumi at the Ryuzoji Band Castle. The next day, Mitsuru grants Musashi the opportunity to redo his trial. Recalling how Jizai taught him the way of life for a bushi, Musashi passes his trial as a red soul. Afterward, Musashi privately tells Kojirou that he saw Jizai during his trial, leading Kojirou to believe that there is more to Jizai's past. Meanwhile, Shiro and Nana discuss that the obsidian goddess used to reside within Jizai before choosing Musashi as her new vessel. After getting his head straight from pondering about Jizai's past, Kojirou later gets food and supplies, also obtaining a detailed map of the country of Hinomoto. Musashi, Kojirou, and Tsugumi unanimously decide to head east on their kitesu mount. In a swamp forest, Musashi rescues Kojirou and Tsugumi from being captured by an octopus jar oni, effortlessly destroying its horn with his kitesu blade. Musashi also saves Mishuru Saruoteri, revealed to be a princess and a member of the Saruoteri band sworn under the Uesugi alliance, heading for Harima port where a decisive battle is imminent. In gratitude for saving Mishuru from danger, Musashi, Kojirou, and Tsugumi hitch a ride, though Musashi struggles to break the ice with Mishuru. When the road becomes bumpy, Musashi and Mishuru fall off a cliff, with Mishuru catching Musashi before using her kitesu blade to float back towards the cliff. Admitting her severe shyness, Mishuru shows Musashi that half of Hinomoto in the east is engulfed by the first and strongest oni called the Black Kishin, historically responsible for a divided nation. Meanwhile, the Uesugi alliance prepares for their imminent battle. Elsewhere, the Obsidian 8 contacts Nana, who confirms that the obsidian goddess was located. Heading towards the ocean, Musashi and Tsugumi support Kojirou in learning more about Jizai's life before Tatsuyama.
I hope you liked the recap. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like it.